Welcome to Canadian Innovators, the show that celebrates innovation, entrepreneurs, and the Canadian spirit. I'm Ves Sobot, sitting in for Jocelyn Bamford. Every week, we introduce a guest that tells their story, unpacks the challenges of their career path, and explores ideas for Canadian job growth and prosperity. This week, we have the pleasure of interviewing the newly elected Member of Parliament for Durham, Jamil Jivani. Mr. Jivani won the riding of Durham in Ontario with 57% of the vote, 57.4% to be exact, the largest plurality in the riding since 1950. Before becoming a member of Parliament, Mr. Jivani was the CEO of the Canada Strong and Free Network. Before running the Canada Strong and Free Network, he hosted a radio program called The Jamil Jivani Show on CFRB. As a lawyer trained at Yale University, he is not afraid to tackle difficult policy and cultural issues, and received an award for his public courage last year by the Coalition of Concerned Manufacturers and Businesses of Canada. Jamil, thank you so much for joining us today. I suspect your schedule just got a whole lot more complicated with your recent electoral win. First, congratulations on your victory. I know you knocked on over 110,000 doors and made over 1,000 phone calls during the campaign. You didn't take anything for granted, and the numbers show it. How many pairs of shoes did you wear
out? Well, thanks for having me here, Ves. It's great to chat with you. And you're right, my schedule's gotten very busy, but it's been busy for a while because, as you said, we worked very hard on this campaign. I'm down to 4 shoes that I went through and put holes in the bottoms of. So, we definitely earned this one on the ground, and we had a fantastic team effort.
That's terrific. Now, Jamil, what motivated you to run in the first place?
Well, a lot of it is just, realizing that we're at a pretty pivotal moment in the history of our country. I'm 36 years old, and I look at people my age and people younger, and we're starting to lose hope. Hope that we can afford a home, hope that we can, afford to have our own children and raise them according to our values, hope that the rights and freedoms that this country was built on will be there for future generations. And I'm looking at what the Trudeau Liberals are doing, and I just think we need people to step up because we're at a time where we need some fighters in Parliament who are going to stand up for our communities. And Durham in particular is a very interesting area where we've got all of Canada represented in one riding. We've got rural, we've got urban, we've got suburban, we've got newcomers, we've got people who've been in Canada for generations. And it seems like a place that really should have an important seat at the table in deciding the future of our country.
No question. How did you choose Durham, and what was the process to get things rolling?
Well, I've been living in Durham region for a few years. I moved to Oshawa in 2020, and I actually used to record my radio show out of an Oshawa home studio. I've lived in Oshawa for a while. I really love the community here. And when the opportunity came to step up and run for Parliament after Aaron O'Toole retired, there were a lot of people in the community saying, Jamil, you're the guy for this. You should step up. You should do it. And it's one of those things where, when your neighbors and your friends tell you that, you're the man for the job, it's hard to say no. And that's what gave me the confidence to step forward. And obviously it all worked out very well in terms of the election results. I think we have a very decisive mandate on behalf of Durham. And I think Durham's made it very clear that they want some change in this country, and they want Pierre Poilievre to be the next prime minister.
Not only did you win, but you won big, which is really impressive, especially given that Aaron O'Toole was the leader of the party, and you increased his plurality very significantly. Listen, how does a kid from Brampton get to Yale University to take law?
Yeah, well, I moved around quite a bit when I was a kid. I grew up in Brampton, Mississauga, and North York. And, I had a pretty chaotic home life. So I was very much living under my potential, like many kids do, like many parents listening to this can probably relate to seeing a kid who has ability but doesn't believe in himself, or maybe doesn't have the support or the environment or the circumstances. So as those things started to change in my life, I started to perform better in school. When I moved out of my mom's house, when I started to have more responsibility, learning to work and pay the bills. I was a dishwasher at Red Lobster, and I worked in kitchens for years. And I just, learned how to believe in myself by having the support of mentors who would look at me and say, you don't know what you're capable of but we know that with the right encouragement, you could do a lot more. So once I got to college and university, I just started to perform much better. And it's still a leap, though, right? To go from Humber College and York University
Sure.
to Yale Law School.
Just
And I
hold
think
that
that leap
thought.
came in.
Hold that thought, Jamil, and we'll pick it up right after the break.